I just whacked her up with about 300 cc's of Thorazine. She's going to take a little nap now.
But, she says she's the gatekeeper. Does that make any sense to you?
Hello, I'm Darren the Magic Ghostbuster. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe and check out all my Ghostbusters themed magic videos. Now in this video I'm taking a look at if Peter Venkman really brought Thorazine on his date with Dana Barrett, and I'll be looking at bits from the film, the characters, theories and some other official sources. But before we begin, I know some people like to watch my videos with their children. Now this video is going to have some adult content, so if you're one of these people, I advise watching it without them first, just to see if you feel comfortable with them seeing it. But anyway, let's take a look at what Thorazine actually is. So, a good old internet for this. It is primarily used to treat psychotic disorders such as schizophrenia. Other uses include the treatment of bipolar disorder, severe behavioural problems in children, including those with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, nausea and vomiting, anxiety before surgery, and hiccups that do not improve following other measures. It can be given by mouth, by injection into a muscle, or into a vein. So where did Peter get the Thorazine from? So he either brought it with him on the date, or he found it in Dana's apartment. So let's look at both of those. Let's start by looking at if he had brought it with him. Now Thorazine was used as a date rape drug back in the day. So the assumption is that he brought it with him on the date with the intention of, you know, getting his way one way or the other. Now, let's assume he did bring it with that intention to have sex with Dana Barrett, you know, willingly or unwillingly. Now, when he answers the door, Dana is possessed by Zuul, and in the apartment, she basically throws herself at him. He, you know, she literally says, "I want you inside me." So, if Peter went on that date with the one thing on his mind was to have sex, he absolutely had that chance, and he turned it down. So I don't think he necessarily went to that date with that one thing in mind, personally. Like I said, he had the chance, he didn't take it, so I don't think he took it with that one thing in mind. Now, one other theory that I've seen people come up with is that Peter did bring it on the date, but more as a form of protection, because he wasn't really sure what he was walking into, and wasn't sure of Dana's mental state. If you look at the beginning of the film, when they're investigating the library and they're chatting to the librarian who saw the library ghost, they're asking her things about her mental state, medication and all that sort of stuff.
Alice, I'm going to ask you a couple of standard questions, okay? Have you or any member of your family ever been diagnosed schizophrenic, mentally incompetent?
My uncle thought he was St. Jerome.
I'd call that a big yes. Are you habitually using drugs, stimulants, alcohol?
No.
No, just asking.
So they clearly approach their clients with a bit of skepticism to begin with. They don't know if they're really seeing ghosts or if some sort of mental disorder is making them see ghosts. And the theory is that they don't know if Dana Barrett was really seeing the Zuul in her fridge, or if it was just some sort of mental thing. And that is why people speculated that he might have brought it just as a form of protection in case she did have some sort of psychotic disorder. Okay, so I don't personally believe in any of those theories. I think the next one makes more sense, and that is that Dana had the Thorazine in her apartment. Now, we need to look at why she would have it in her apartment. So, this is just speculation, really. But let's look at the bit where Dana sees Zuul in her fridge. She obviously runs out her apartment, and then we see her visiting the Ghostbusters. Now, we know that there's a couple of days between her seeing Zuul and visiting the Ghostbusters.
And this voice said, Zuul. And then I slammed the refrigerator door and I left. That was 2 days ago, and I haven't been back to my apartment.
So what happened in the time between seeing Zuul in the fridge and visiting the Ghostbusters? Now this is complete speculation, but my theory has always generally been that before visiting the Ghostbusters she probably thought she was seeing things and went to see a doctor or a psychiatrist who prescribed this antipsychotic medication, which is why it was in her apartment for Peter to give her later on. Of course, there could be plenty of other reasons why she had it, but that's been my theory. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple of official sources now. Now, in the original novelisation, which was published in 1985 and has been recently re-released in this edition, that includes the novels for Ghostbusters 1 and 2, and in this edition it's page 127. At the very top of that page there is a paragraph. Dana Barrett still floated above the bed while Peter Venkman rummaged through the drawers of her dresser. She's an artist, he thought. She's got to have some Valium somewhere. So, even as far back as 1985, we had an official answer. More recently, we had a more modern answer in the Ghostbusters Year 1, Issue 3 comic. So this awesome comic series by IDW is about the Ghostbusters' first year in business, and several people are being interviewed for a book that is being written on the Ghostbusters. Now we're interested in this page here, which has Dana Barrett being interviewed, and particularly these bits here. And here she says, "I'm sorry, I mentioned Thorazine last time. Well, I'd rather it not be in the book, but for the record, I had a prescription. No, it wasn't for a psychotic break. I never told my doctor about seeing monsters in my fridge. It was for hiccups. Don't you dare laugh." So there are two official sources. Now you could argue about whether they are considered canon within the movie universe, but they are official sources, so they do kind of override any fan theories or speculation that me or anyone else has. Personally, I preferred the theory that she had it because she saw monsters in her fridge rather than the hiccups thing that the comic gave us. But if you remember at the beginning when I did read out what Thorazine could be used for, it could actually be used for hiccups. I also think when you look at the film and the characters, it just makes sense that she had it in her apartment. But anyway, let me know what you think. Do you believe that Venkman was up to no good? Do you believe that Dana had it in her apartment? All opinions and theories are welcome. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, keep on busting.